So I literally just got home. Like, I've only been in my seat for maybe 3 minutes. So you're gonna get my live reaction as I discuss The Rise of Skywalker. I finally figured out what it was called, you guys. I'm not a negative person by nature. You know, okay, well, like, look, here's the thing. One of my favorite, things of all time is, My Immortal by, XXX Bloody Wrists 666, like the fan fiction. I legitimately think that it's one of the best pieces of written literature to ever exist. You know? I've cosplayed as Ebony, Darkness, Dementia, Raven Away twice. Like, to that extent. You know? National Treasure is, not ironically, one of my favorite movies of all time. The Rise of Skywalker was super annoying. It was really, really annoying. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I'm not, okay, so like I said in the last video, I don't know anything about Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars person. It's not my jam. It never has been. I'm a Star Trek fan. I have 2 action figures of Janeway and Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager, even though Star Trek Voyager is mediocre. So the other thing that I did, like, in the Uber on the way over to the theater, it was like a half an hour away from my house, I didn't realize this, was I went on Twitter and I started looking at tweets, and I follow some people who follow some people who had already seen the movie, and like the buzz was kind of not great. It was more of like an angry hornet buzz than a bumblebee buzz. But you know, there are people where I'm like, okay, well, I don't always really agree with you in regards to media. So I didn't really put much stock in it. And you know, once again, I'm not a Star Wars person. I really don't have any, you know, sorry, I keep thinking about the movie and I'm like, oh, that movie was annoying. So I don't really have any personal investment in it. You know, like like the people that I was with, and a couple buddies of mine, like they were way more into Star Wars. You know, like one of them is a Star Wars LARP. He has 4 high-end lightsabers that like you can actually duel with. So like I'm not into it, you know, like I really wasn't expecting to have any, I wasn't really expecting much of a emotional response. Oh, I wrote notes on my way back, in my Uber on the way back, about some of the specific stuff, and I thought that maybe we would just go over it. I have it in my phone, you can see it. I'm gonna pour myself a drink first, and then we're gonna talk about it. I have New Amsterdam gin. Go ahead and pour that in there, and I have White Claw because I'm fucking a basic white bitch. That's exactly what I am. Okay, so I guess maybe the other thing that I should cop to is, I really liked The Last Jedi. You know, of the Star Wars movies that I've seen, like, I find The Last Jedi the most interesting to watch, because it has a lot of stuff going on, and I find the characters compelling. I think the woman who plays Admiral Holdo, funny story, okay, so the woman who plays Admiral Holdo, I can't remember her name, it's Laura something. The thing that I had seen her in before The Last Jedi was Twin Peaks Season 3. Spoilers. Spoilers for Twin Peaks. Spoilers for The Last Jedi. Spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker. Spoilers for everything. Okay, like, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you probably shouldn't watch this. So the last thing that I had seen that woman in was Twin Peaks Season 3 as Diane. And such a radical tone difference, but really emphasizing the extent of her acting range. But I liked The Rise of Skywalker for other reasons. You know, the ever controversial subversions that Rian Johnson made. I really liked them. You know, I thought that it was interesting that he took it to an interesting and different place. People have mentioned the pacing. I've never been bothered by the pacing of it, but I'm really a bad person to ask about pacing, because I'm a big fan of, like, deep lore. Like, I just finished reading Les Mis by Victor Hugo, and my favorite thing about that book is the fact that it has no sense of pace. It doesn't care. It's like, oh, Valjean's escaping from somewhere? We better stop the plot. Talk about Waterloo for like 20,000 words. Like, that's my favorite thing. So I guess I don't really care about pacing. I will say, The Rise of Skywalker, it moved. It definitely moved. You know, it definitely had a sense of pace. I put in my notes that it had a really good first act, and I think that's true. I'm not gonna remember anything about, like, the name of the planets, or the characters who aren't the main ones, or anything like that. Like, just so we all understand, like, shit ain't gonna happen. So they get to, like, the desert planet, where they're looking for the triangle MacGuffin. The thing to find the thing where Palpatine is. The Sith thing. After you see the movie, you'll understand. This video is gonna be a train wreck. I'm so sorry. But like the movie moves at a really good pace through that, like, whole sequence. I think it's really interesting. I like the little Coachella scene that we have in the desert. I thought that was cute and funny. And it made stakes feel very real. Because I kept worrying that, like, when the First Order found them, because I knew that they were going to, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna kill all these civilians. They don't. They don't kill the civilians. I put in my notes, they don't even kill the younglings. Because that's a joke from the prequels. Anyway, so, like, it all moves very nicely. And I don't mind all of the MacGuffins in this one. I'm okay with it. Like, that that objects are continuously used to, like, leapfrog from one place to another. I'm like, it's fine, fuck it, whatever. I don't mind. So I got really excited in this movie in the first act, because I was like, oh yeah, sweet, we're gonna keep it this way, you know, we're gonna do it, we're gonna, like, actually move forward. I'll just read my note. Good, tight first act. They should have killed Chewie. So the First Order is tracking Poe, Finn, and Rey to this desert planet where Coachella is happening with Chewie and C-3PO, who's here, despite having been a non-entity for the other two movies. And the First Order captures Chewie, who has the dagger MacGuffin. And it's like, oh no, that's a bummer. And they're taking him away, and then Rey is gonna like force pull the ship with Chewie back to Earth. And then she and Kylo Ren, who fucking will not go away. Fucking Kylo Ren is just... He's here! He sure is here. He's here. He's here! So she's pulling the ship back to the thing, and then she accidentally uses Sith lightning, which I thought that Yoda had also used, and I was like, oh, hey, cool, alright, nice, sweet, she can use Sith lightning, alright, cool, groovy. But it becomes a thing. And accidentally explodes the ship, with Chewie on it. And I was like, oh, sweet, cool, I'm already right about a thing, nice. And then they just undo it. They just undo it. It's 5 minutes later, and we're back on the First Order ship with Hux. Who's here? He sure is here. Yep. And, they're like, oh, and we got a prisoner. And the elevator doors open, and it's Chewie, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, alright. Never mind. Y'all got my hopes up. And I think that really sets a theme through the whole movie about how it can all just be undone. You know, like... okay, so I kind of got the feeling, as I was thinking about this, that there was a first draft that was written probably like during post-production of The Last Jedi. And that was the first draft, and they're like, okay, cool, so this is gonna jump off of Rian Johnson's endpoint, and we'll keep going. And then they saw the blowback that they received from the fandom. And they were like, oh shit, hang on just a second. And they wrote back, and they did like a lot of scribbling in the margins, and they like rewrote the whole thing. They were like, just undo it. Just undo all of it. Like, all that shit that we did in Last Jedi, just fucking undo it. Just, whoop, we're just gonna undo all of it. And it's just, they do everything but time travel. So that was lame and annoying. You know, if anybody dies in this movie, like, except for Leia, because that would have been difficult. Except for Leia, like, they are most likely, like, actually dead. Except for Leia and, like, one other person that I will get to in just a second when I can deal with my feelings. Hang on. I'm gonna have another drink. Okay, so just everything in this movie can easily be undone. And everything about the last movie can just easily be undone. None of it matters. There's no stakes. There's no stakes in this whole movie. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, alright. So after they got me on board with that, I'm like, well, that's alright. You know, it can just be a spectacle. That's fine. I don't have any personal investment in this movie, it's gonna be okay. But the movie just kept getting increasingly annoying in how blatant it was being about the whole thing. You know, there's lines like, oh, we would need a holdo remover, we would need a holdo maneuver to pull that off, and they're like, that's a 1 in a million shot. And I'm like, okay, thanks, great. Like, they... So, like, you know how kind of one of the biggest character beats for Rey was how she wanted to know who she was. You know, where did she belong? How did she fit into the galaxy? And in The Last Jedi, they were like, you're Rey. You know, you fit in exactly as a Rey is supposed to. You're an ally to your friends, and a force for good, and you're gonna prove that we can move forward in a new and different way. And I was like, sweet, cool, sounds good, I'm on board. And then this movie, it just undoes it. Just nope. Psych. She's a Palpatine. She's Palpatine's granddaughter. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. I didn't want that, but alright. Okay, fine, whatever. And, you know, just, it's alright. It's fine that her character arc is just undone. You know, that her whole thing about trying to accept who she is with no background, you know, is just undone. That's fine. So she's a Palpatine now, and I'm like, okay, alright, whatever. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to have an energy about this, but this movie is just so annoying that, like, I'm not even mad, I'm just vaguely irritated that they just undid everything, you know, and I can already tell that there's gonna be a conflict, probably, internally, in the fandom, of people who liked The Last Jedi and are upset about this movie, because it undoes The Last Jedi, and people who didn't like The Last Jedi, who maybe like this movie. I really can't tell who's gonna like this and who's not going to, and whatever. And them being like, oh, well, the fucking Last Jedi just undid a bunch of shit. And I'm like, The Last Jedi didn't undo a bunch of shit. The Last Jedi just steered everything in a different direction. This one just... status quo is basically unchanged. Except now the First Order is more or less neutralized, so that's good. There's still no Republic or Empire or anything. So I guess that's good? I don't know. I have no idea, like, if this is what we were trying to accomplish. You know, like, but all of the bad guys blew up, so I guess that's good. I did, can I just say, though, okay, so poor fucking Rose. Poor Rose. Oh, poor Rose. You can tell her part got fucking cut. Like a lot. Like a whole lot. So for some fucking reason, they just have, like, C-3PO hanging out with them for a lot of the runtime. And I was like, why is he here? Like, you're adding nothing, and you're kind of just being fucking annoying, C-3PO. I kind of wish you would go away, bro. And it occurred to me, oh, that was originally going to be Rose, wasn't it? that she was gonna be here and she was gonna be assisting in the solving of the thing, you know, because she used to be an engineer and like a guard and stuff, and she was probably gonna assist in doing things. And then they saw that fucking that nobody liked her, and by nobody I mean fucking whatever part of the Star Wars fandom bitched about it. I don't really know what part that is, nor am I interested in finding out at this point. That they didn't want her there, and so they clearly just kind of rewrote parts of the script so that C-3PO could be there, and we could just put Rose back on the home base planet in like that pretty rainforest area in a set that looks like it's only about 3 meters wide, and to have her hang out over there. Which is weird and lame, because she would have been more useful than C-3PO, and they probably could have cut time, but whatever. But because she's not there, it definitely seems like, particularly Poe and Finn, wow, Poe and Finn are definitely being boyfriends, which was very cute. I was a big fan of that. Like, because they didn't really spend a lot of time together in the last movie, I forgot about how boyfriendy they are, but that was very sweet. But now, because they get to hang out with Rey, I was sitting there in my seat and I was like, OT3, 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 and I was so pumped. It was so good, and it was like kind of carrying me through the movie. I was like, oh, this is so cute. I can just imagine that they're like on their own little adventure together. It's like a nice, cute little stable polyamorous group. It was very sweet. I think I mentioned in my last video that I hate Kylo Ren. This movie didn't change my opinion on Kylo Ren, like in case anybody was curious. Kinda in the same way that like, the Deadly Hallows didn't change my opinion on Snape or Draco, while we're at it. I still hate him, like a lot, like a whole lot. Sorry, Jenny. I hate him. And I was so hoping that they were just gonna kill him like a dog. Like, I'm not sure, my camera's probably not good enough to tell, but like my eyeliner and eyeshadow is all runny and smeared now. A, because it's not very good. It's Wet and Wild. And B, because like I spent part of my movie doing this because I was so annoyed that I couldn't look at the screen. Like Kylo Ren, he just keeps fucking showing up, and I'm like, Kylo, go away. Shoo. Nobody wants you here. Nobody needs you. Just fuck off. And, you know, at least Hux, I can't believe I said that. God help me. You know, Hux was a spy for, he was giving information to the, Resistance, which was something else that Jenny called, and it was like, oh, hey, sweet. Oh, we're going to talk about the other thing in just a second. But I want to talk about Hux and Kylo Ren for a second. And they killed Hux halfway through the movie, and I was so happy. It was such a moment of relief. I was like, yes, sweet. They just shoot him right in the fucking gut, and he flies back like 15 feet, and I'm like, yay! He's dead. I don't have to worry about him anymore. Oh, so happy. Oh, it was a good moment. Man. Kylo. I mean, he gets redeemed. Kind of. You know, and like I guess he redeemed himself in Rey's eyes, so that's good. And they defeat Palpatine, or well, Rey defeats Palpatine. I'm not gonna give Kylo any more credit than he deserves, and he deserves very little, in my opinion. So Rey defeats Palpatine, and she falls over, dead, because she used up all of her life force in defeating him. And I was like, oh man, are they like actually gonna kill Rey? That'd be intense. And like, okay, that would make a lot of sense, you know, like it like, because Palpatine's whole thing is he wants her to kill him so that she becomes the new Sith Lord and the new Empress. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. And then she kills him, and I'm like, okay. And then she falls over dead, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then Kylo Ren, he's been thrown down a cavern, and I'm like, oh, great. He climbs back up, and he holds her and like puts his life energy into her, and then they kiss. And hang on. And I'm just sitting in there in the theater, like, so annoyed. Because this was all shit. This was all exactly shit I didn't want to have happen. But okay, fucking fine. Alright, whatever. And then he falls over dead. And, like, actually, like, his body vanishes. And I'm like, fucking thank you. Thank God. There's gonna be 10 trillion fan fictions, but undo it. But at least in my heart, he's dead. So that's nice. Oh, okay. Alright. Sorry, I have to look at my notes again. I'm getting... There was a lot of alcohol in my drink. Okay, right. So the other thing that Jenny didn't predict this, but a couple days ago she uploaded a video about like a weird fan theory that some sci-fi author, I'm about to run out of battery, that some sci-fi author came up with that involved snow clones. In the first 5 minutes of this movie, they've scanned past like a tube of liquid and it has snow clones in it. And in retrospect, that says a lot about the movie. Guys, this movie was so annoying. It was so fucking annoying. Oh, I like the upside of this movie is that now all of my favorite YouTubers are gonna have a lot of content for like the next 3 months. I don't, you know, like once again, I'm not a Star Wars person. I don't really care that much. I'm just telling you guys about this because I thought it would make good content, and I know that staying topical is like a thing for YouTubers, and I thought that I would give it a shot. But really, in retrospect, I'm like, I should have gone to see Cats. You know, that looked like the more enjoyably bizarre movie than this. And at the end of the day, I think that's really all I have. I should have gone to see Cats. I'm gonna go. I don't have anything else to say, and I'm about to run out of battery on my camera. If you made it a half an hour into this video, you deserve some kind of prize. Go see Cats, and not The Rise of Skywalker is my only advice. Alright, goodbye.